Hey guys, it's me. So today we'll be doing an audit of this website here, AZ Painting, located in Vancouver, Canada. So they came to us looking to get ranked for painting services, basically the service you see here. So strata painting, commercial painting, and your large residential projects. So we having a look at their website and just showing you what exactly we would do when it comes to like getting them ranked and just getting their online presence sorted. But first, what we'll do is start with a quick Q&A. So these are essentially questions that I answer in various groups on Facebook. I think I'm about part of like maybe 800 or 900 different Facebook groups. And I think on a regular basis, I probably am in like maybe like 10 of them that I'm actively answering all kind of like questions, right? So pretty good. Now, so the first thing that we'd want to do is, let's just have a look at this one. So is there any free or cheap software that automates SEO tasks? Please post the name and what task it does for you. So normally when I hear free, I'm usually a bit skeptical, or I'm like, well, if it's free, everyone is probably using it, and then it's actually not going to be that effective, right? So anything that is less freely accessible, is either difficult to use, which means that not a lot of people will use it correctly, or if it's free and easy to use, it means that everyone else is using that particular tool. And if that's the case, then why would you actually want to use it for your campaign or your SEO, right? Because if everyone else is doing the exact same thing to win, you're probably not going to be the number one, or you're not going to be able to push yourself to like a number one position quick enough timeline. So that's one of my main issues with the questions like these. And then also a cheap software. It's just good that they are cheap alternatives. I would just say low cost. I don't want to come shit on this too much, because of course we'd all want the softwares that we're using to be cheap and also free, especially as at least cheap, because you at least know that someone, if you're paying a small amount, where it's like 5, 10 or 15 bucks a month, that software is being well maintained. But when you put these two together, free and cheap, it's going to be very difficult, and you might actually end up spending a lot more time than you will on certain tasks, or you might actually not get the exact results that you're looking for because it's free and cheap, and it's probably not going to be that effective, right? So just watch out with that, especially in the SEO world. It's better to just go with like a couple of tools that could be like Ahref, SEMrush, or whatever tool you're using, and just stick to like the core, like 3 or 4 tools. 5 is probably a bit too much. So so on to the next question. Hey guys, I'm currently having issues with ranking my business on Google Maps. I used to rank number 1 for keyword taxi and taxi near me, and now I'm ranking number 3 in Sydney, Australia. So Australia, that's pretty nearby where I'm at right now. Right, I can't seem to figure out what went wrong and what I need to do. Now, with questions like these, or just posts like these, there's not much that I can say or do, because you'd at least want to see the website or the Google My Business page. It's fine if you want to be anonymous, you don't want anyone to DM you or whatnot. I understand that. But anytime you're posting questions in a group, especially related to SEO, local SEO, you'd want to at least post some kind of information about a website, or the asset or property that you're actually looking to rank. That way I can have a quick look at it, and typically I'll be able, just like in the review that I'm about to do of this website, I'll be able to have a look and see what's going on there. Now, for taxi services, we've done various taxi services there, and most of what happens is that the content is usually not that good on taxi websites. So they're missing either quality service pages, or their content plan is not good. But especially with taxi services, you'd want to be building up the right topical authority in order to rank for the right keywords, rank for bottom of the funnel or commercial keywords, as you will, right? So that's one of the main thing. Now, if he was ranking already on number 1 position or high for taxi and taxi near me, it means that either the other business did something way better, or Google reshuffled their decks, reshuffled their cards, and essentially decided to put you in number 3. Now this happens pretty often. Google will like bounce you back between like the first and second page, or even like lower, just to test out other companies to see which one is the best. So it just means that in this case, you'd want to take your website and your Google My Business profile, and then also make sure that you go ahead and analyze your competitors and see what they're doing versus what you revisit what you thought you were doing or what you were doing, and just that's the game of SEO, right? So it's competitive. I get a question a lot where folks are like, is SEO one time? And I'm like, I wish it was, but it's not. If that was the case, you would not be able, as a new business entering the market, you would not be able to actually enter the market, because you might have competitors from like 10-20 years ago who are actually doing pretty well, and how would you be able to like outrank them, right? It wouldn't be fair to new competitors. And once you're there, I guess if you're there in number 1 spot, the number 1 position, you do not want to be moved, right? It's kind of like the dictator stuff, right? I guess if you're the dictator, you are the king, you might not want to be dethroned by anyone else or whatnot. But if you're not, you're like, hey, get that ass out of here. So yeah, that's how it works. So I reshuffled the cards a bit, because this post here is also very similar to this. Not much information, and the post or the guy is like anonymous, so it's all good. But basically, they completed a full GMB optimization. A lot of GMB optimization that I've seen are not that good, to be honest. They just fill out like the basic information, but they don't optimize for the services or the right categories. And then also for a lot of profiles, they're missing like enough reviews. So yeah, anyways, so this guy updated the landing page and all the service page content, created citations, gained 10 plus reviews. 10 plus is not that much, but yeah, and regularly update the photos on his Google My Business profile. I also build free backlinks for the website and fix all the technical issues. However, after 2 months of work, I still haven't seen any improvement in my Google My Business ranking. Right, 2 months is already not a long timeline for seeing any kind of like meaningful results. Right, if you're talking, I'd say at least give it 3 to 4 months. And if you're really not seeing any kind of like noticeable difference, right, typically what we see with our campaigns is that, right, imagine like in the center, you have your Google My Business profile. There it's going to be the strongest, because that's kind of like where your signal is coming from. That's where your lighthouse is, or I guess if you're looking at it with like sound wave, that's where it's going to be the strongest. And as it goes further out, it's going to be weaker, because either you're going to hit into a wall, meaning there's another business there, or the further away from a main signal, the source it is, the weaker that signal becomes. That's how like sound works, right? I don't know a lot about sound, but that's kind of like how it works, the further away. So yeah, that's where you'd want to at least look at that. If you're seeing some kind of like results, typically for you, like exactly where your business is located, you will typically see some kind of improvement, right? You start turning green, and then out of that you get like a 1-2 mile radius that's also going to turn green. And then as you go along, he will start to expand in a certain direction, depending on how strong that competitor is. A lot of people think that once you optimize, once you add all of these things to the Google My Business profile, that's kind of like it. Google is going to be like, yay, wonderful, we're going to rank you. We're going to rank you number 1. But you got to see, like, if you're a detailing company or a painting company, they'll make maybe like 10 or 15 other painting companies registered in your area, because you're in this commercial zone, a commercial area, maybe where that's where most of the businesses are. Or what we tend to see is that, that's where where you do a lot of your work, or that's where like all of the office space or industrial areas are. So they all register their businesses in the same area. So it's going to be very difficult to surpass another competitor if they're already doing SEO and they're doing SEO pretty well, right? So you got to like consider that too. Now, if you're not getting enough movements from your Google My Business profile, it means that you're off page, so your off Google page SEO is not that good, and that could mean like the amount of backlinks you have, but definitely gonna mean your landing page, your Google My Business, but your website, right? Your website is probably not as optimized as it should be, and it's not matching your Google My Business profile. So for your Google My Business profile, Google does take information from there, but anyone can like say anything there. So they like to verify whatever information you put on there. See it as, just verifying the bookmarks, or do you call them bookmarks? They're references. When you're writing like some kind of like thesis, or you're doing some kind of like project, you cannot just claim something. You actually need to like mention where you got that information from. So similar to Google, that's kind of like what they do. So those are things that I would definitely do. So here I went in and I wrote a pretty long comment. But yeah, the first thing I would do is just audit your Google My Business again to see what's going on and make sure it's filled out, your description and everything like that. And then make sure those services are linked back to their service pages on your website, directly linked back from your services on your Google My Business profile. Now for your website, optimize the structure. That's the main thing, and that's probably like the first thing that I try to tackle, because if you have like a bad structure, it's going to be difficult to scale later, and it's also going to be difficult for you to rank really well. So you'd want to at least do that. Fix your website structure, make sure that your website is optimized for the primary category of what you're trying to sell more of, what you're trying to rank for. So look at your competitors, or just ask AI or whatnot, what my primary category is, and then decide based on the information that's provided by AI, whether is really your primary category. All right. So next, you'd want to create like a topical map. This is where like you'd want like a top level content piece, and then maybe like 4 or 5, even by 10 or 15 different supporting pages, all interlinking to each other. So the supporting pages linking back up to your top level pages, and then your top level pages linking out to like important pages on your websites, right? You want to become like the go-to person on that particular thing on your website, right? So once you have a content plan, the topical map, you can create a content plan for like 90 days or even like a year, and then you start producing content. Content should not just be the written content, what you see on the website, but also your schema. Let's see, at your content, your schema, and also interlinking. As you build out new content pieces, you need to make sure that your internal links are properly done. And for each page that you build out, I would recommend adding like 1 or 2 backlinks to that page. So 1 or 2 links out of the page, 1 or 2 links, or just a couple of internal links from that page to other pages on your website, and then also maybe like backlinks from 1 or 2 links from another niche related website, or just from another website somewhere, linking back to that page. Could be a press release or whatnot, just to tell Google or show Google that you wrote something interesting. So the interlinking, pretty important. So these are the things that we go through with like every single website. That's why I can just like tell you that exactly right now, because it's the same process, slightly different depending on the industry. There's certain industries that we don't go into because the process might be, completely different. But for the typical website, you're gonna want all of these things, right? Structure, content, and whatnot. All right, so let's just dive into one more, and then we do the quick audit of AZ Painting. So what is everyone using for reporting? We have several tools and whatnot. So basically, I list out like Local Dominator, but you have Local Dominator, Local Falcon, and I think there's another one, Vikings. Just pick one, because they kind of have their own way of presenting the data and whatnot. So you just want one that's consistent, and over time you'll decide which one is best. I've used Local Dominator. I've used I'm also using right now, like Local Falcon. So yeah, don't spend too much time on that. They all kind of like do the same thing. Just make sure that the cost doesn't like get too much. A lot of businesses, well, I guess you could say that some business owners do care, right? But a lot of business owners actually don't really look at that. They actually want to see whether or not you can get them more calls, right? More leads and more sales. So if you can do that, you'll be fine. Google Search Console, that's free. Just difficult to like understand the information in there a lot of times. So we use tools like SEO Crawl, just some other tools to understand the data and be able to see what keywords you're ranking for, what questions we need to like write new content for. SE ranking is one that often comes up. We don't use that at the moment, but that's also a good one. All right, so to head over to AZ Painting. All right, so to quickly analyze this, basically they have a lot of pages that are competing with each other. That's number one. So I pulled up their essentially their sitemap and just had a look at it, and I saw multiple pages like commercial, whatnot. And so that's telling me that it's kind of, unless they direct it to the right main page, they're essentially diluting themselves in the search engine. So that's number one. So having many pages that are competing with each other is gonna harm you in the long run. You might think it's nice to have 2 or 3 pages ranking for the exact keyword on Google, but it's not, because Google is gonna choose one, and it could be like your lowest converting page, or the Google is just gonna like remove you altogether. Now, another thing that I noticed is that a lot of pages have like thin content, so not enough content, and the internal linking is not as good as it should be on the website. As I looked through the pages to, I think, was it not on this page, but I think there were like several pages where images were under optimized. Also, we had some broken links. I might be able to find a page right now. Let me just choose like a different page. These are all reading fine for now. All right, so those are like the main things that I was like looking at. Also, the internal linking sometimes is questionable. So if as we look through this site, if we would actually revamp it with overall the content, improve the content, make sure that it's more semantically related or just written, and that you also have like proper internal linking on each page, would reduce the amount of competing pages with each other, or actually structured in such a way that the pages are not competing with each other. So another thing, I know the owner does like the color scheme of this website, but what I noticed as I scroll through the site is that it's not as visual as it could be for a painting company. With a painting company, like if I land on their website, I want to see like large images, before and after projects. Right now, it's not giving all of that, and that's a bit sad. That makes me sad. Also on the pages, just scroll through, right, you're also missing the reviews section. So I don't really actually like seeing the review section, and there are probably some other sections that are not there. Maybe our process is missing. This is so we do have like one review here, but it just isn't that everything is like one color, right? So design wise, a lot of things just does not stand out. It just looks like if this was white, if we change this gray color here to white, nothing would actually like stand out. So from a conversion standpoint, we're gonna need to like work better on this side, basically, overall how everything is like set up. This is a location page, by the way, but doesn't seem to be optimized specifically for that location page. So that's probably going to be like an issue where, as we look through the pages, I think they have like 2 location pages. They're probably going to be exactly the same, pretty similar. So that's going to be problematic. Going to need to solve. Now, I do see that they have been trying to create some blog articles, write some content for their website, probably maybe previous SEOs that have done that. But some of the articles are either covering like an extremely large area, or they're not covering like a specific area. So we do see some location there, but what we'd want to do is essentially zoom into the neighborhoods, the places that they want to like do more jobs in, and create content for those areas, and be specific with the service that we're targeting. So if you're targeting like strata painting 1 week, and then the other week or then the other month you're targeting waterproofing, it's not going to help you, maybe in the long run, in a couple of years once you've built out everything, but it's not going to help you grow quickly. So same for these pages. Let me just have a look at them. But I see it load quickly, and I'll get down. Let me just have a look. Yeah, so I'm on this page, and man, I'm scrolling through it right now, but you're not asking me for the sale. But maybe I'm reading this and I'm thinking, hey, this company looks great. I love what they're saying here. There's no form on the side here that's following me. So, right then and there, I'm just, it's showing me that your conversion, the website conversion can be like improved. The same for like these are, if you're looking to go pretty broad, I would just say go ahead and keep these as they are. But maybe if you're just in Vancouver, as it's in your name, you'd want to just mention Vancouver in there, or at least, let me see, strata painting services, and maybe at least mention it somewhere here, so that you have at least these pages covering Vancouver, and then you can add like additional like service area pages to detail exactly what areas in Vancouver you operate. All right, so overall what I would do is just create a pretty tight, just well-structured content plan. That's after you've created like, a topical map of all the keywords, the money keywords that you're looking to target, because, we don't want to target everything. We don't want to target all of the services. If you, go to ChatGPT or whatnot, they will, pretty much give you suggestion to target all of these at once, and you're just going to burn out. You'd want to like zoom into like 1 or 2 services that are paying the most, and then like create a topical map, topical roadmap around that particular service. And then out of that, you start creating content that's not just the written content that you can actually see on the website, but that's also the schema markup, right? The code that the Google robots see. So you want to speak in human language and also robot language. So improve your conversion of the website. Like just this section alone, it looks nice and fancy, but man, it would be great if I could actually like see these on the first go. The website page looks a bit darkish, so it's not going to help conversion. And then the call to action, there's no clear call to action up here. It just says contact us, but it's not giving me like an offer or anything like that. So right then and there, if I have to choose between you and another company that's giving me a free estimate, free quote, or maybe 10% off, I don't know, that's a lot. But anything free would work. Probably go with them, because I don't get that same information here. So you want to adjust your content, probably clean up the internal linking on your website. That alone should be able to like move the needle, push you in the right direction. And then once you start seeing now those results, you'll ultimately believe a bit more in SEO, and just want to like push ahead until you're in the #1 position. So yeah, this is my audit, also Q&A session for today. If you'd like me to do a similar audit of your website for free, or create a similar video, just let me know, and just reach out to me on Facebook or my website, or just drop a comment below under this video, and I'll be happy to help you. All right, cheers.